So, folks, I'm joined by Maritime Professional, tender slash chase boat operator and content creator, Duvon Green, whose love for the ocean has taken him on a remarkable journey. Morning, friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I
Nice to see
can't
you.
complain. Give thanks. And great to have you with us this morning. I know we want to
Respect.
talk about the sea, but tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about the content creating thing that you're doing. What you do? What you do?
So basically, I create content based on my journey or whatever I'm involved with. Wherever I'm in the world, and I like to document and showcase that. So it creates how do I say, like a feeling or a look for people to basically live through me based on what I'm able to see and the opportunities that I get globally to showcase to people around the world and locally to show them that the world is much larger than we might believe.
Yeah, and final question about that. Tell me some of the places that you've been to.
So far, I've been to the French West Indies, like St. Bart's. I've been to Antigua, St. Kitts, St. Martin, Aruba, Curacao, Mexico, just to name a few.
Oh, beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah,
And
so
you're
really
doing this,
interesting places.
you're doing this by sea, right?
Yeah, by
Okay.
sea.
Double-barrel question.
Yeah.
Why the love for the sea? And who is a seafarer? I hear Clive was running a joke and say, well, a seafarer must have fear the sea. But I know that's not, I know that's not it. But where did the love for the sea come from? And explain the seafarer business for me.
Funny enough, I didn't think I'll become a sailor. I actually wanted to fly planes. And at the time, coming straight out of high school, big up St. John's College, I wasn't able to pursue it just right away out of school, because it's a very expensive venture. It's a very long journey to get through to becoming an actual pilot. And I wanted something more just as equally professional, but also unique. And the next best thing was the maritime world. And I've never regretted it since I've been in the industry for the past 5 years.
And who is a seafarer now?
A seafarer is any individual whose profession requires them to work actively on a vessel at sea.
Okay.
So you could be a chef, anybody.
Okay.
Once you're working on a vessel and you're at sea and it requires you to be at sea, you're a seafarer.
Yeah. Which school you said you went to?
So I went to St. George's College.
No, man, me did hear, man. Me did hear.
Have to make that clear.
So what's the difference between, as I said at the top, a tender boat and a chase boat? What's the difference?
All right, so a tender, the words do interchange, but for the most part, a tender is usually for the vessel's operations, like, your provisioning or small crew transfers and things like that. Mm-hmm. And they typically are smaller vessels that stay on the boat, so they can be either stored on the vessel or within the vessel. And then a chase boat is a more luxury extension of the vessel. So that is that's used for more offshore activities, transfers, guest activities, water sports, and stuff like that. So it's like extension of what is on the main vessel.
Yeah, I know what the word means, but what's a maritime simulator?
So a maritime simulator, basically, just like an airplane simulator, it allows you to curate real life maritime scenarios in a more in a setting that allows you to make more mistakes, so that you can understand the principles and ability to do the same maneuvers in real life and use those principles in the simulators to curate what you're trying to achieve or learn, so forth.
So you're actually on a boat doing the same thing you would do, you're just not out at sea doing it.
Pretty much. So you get the chance to make all the mistakes there before doing it in real life.
Yeah. Do you have to do it after you have become where you are now, or this is just for training purposes? Or you still
It's
have
for training purposes. It's training purposes for myself, and also I use it to teach other persons who are interested to utilize that information or system to get that knowledge prior to actually getting active sea service. Because even professional maritime persons has to do simulator time on more larger scale simulators for their training for the next license and so forth.
Yeah,
so it's actually a mandatory thing in the real world.
Okay, you said teach, so you also teach.
Yes. So I have a TikTok page called The Virtual Ship Pilot, where I create videos of scenarios based on real life activities that I use to showcase like how do you maneuver a vessel in this situation or dock in this situation. And these are situations based on what I've either witnessed in real life or I've actually encountered myself or actually done. So this is me reiterating my experiences into the sim to be able to showcase to people on a global scale.
Okay. Have you thrown the airline pilot overboard, or you still might end up doing that sooner?
I don't know, because it's a big transition, because the maritime industry does requires a lot of you where training is concerned.
Yeah.
And I mean, once you have to be 5 years in, and the amount of courses that you have already done and needs to continue doing, it's kind of it's tricky to make that transition. Funny enough, you asked, my boss actually recently asked, because he actually is aware that I can, I do play a lot of flight simulators as well, and he was asking me, so why don't you just go and get your pilot license?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see what the future holds.
Yeah.
But for
Final
sure,
question. Tell me about a day in the life of Duvon as a maritime person.
So my day is not monotonous. It changes. I never know what I'm going to wake up to do. That's really the reality, because it's a ever-changing industry. Things change at moment's notice.
Okay.
You never know what your day is going to be like. But pretty much, sunshines and sunsets, the most beautiful sceneries all over the world. So that's one of the biggest thing I can say. Yeah.
Beautiful. Can I see a simulator?
Yeah.
Show me now.
Let's share the screen.
You can show. Oh, okay. This is it right here. Right.
All right. So in this scenario, we have a super yacht.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show a procedure of getting off the dock. Getting off the dock. So we have a chart. This is what our navigation chart looks like.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is a procedure called walking off the dock. So I'm basically going to let the yacht slide off the dock sideways, and then we're going to reverse. We're going to clear this channel marker, maybe come into the center of the channel, then we're going to spin and head straight out to sea. So just to give you a small idea of what instruments we have. So if you see this, so this one here, we have our engines, our main engines. We have two engines.
Yeah.
One left and one right, but we don't say left and right. We have nautical terminologies called port and starboard. So port engine is your left engine, starboard engine is your right engine.
Okay.
Here, the center instrument is called a thruster, the bow thruster. It allows the bow to swing on its pivot. And then we have our rudders, or the wheel, that we use to turn the vessel. So if I turn full to the left, or port, it goes full to the left. If it goes full to the right, it goes full to starboard. All right, so we have our radar, we have our propulsion, and all the other instruments that tell me what's going on.
Okay.
In real time.
All right. It seems interesting, but I would love to come out and be a part of that one of these days. Duvon, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Definitely.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
So you take care of yourself. AMDG. See it?
All right, respect.
Duvon Green, Maritime Professional, tender/chase boat operator and content creator. AMDG means Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, which is the motto of St. George's College, for the greater glory of God. We make a fun stop after the break. So come.